Yesterday, the humanitarian charity PennyAppeal launched the campaign Crisis Upon Crisis to provide emergency relief for Lebanon. We're joined by the charity's chief executive, that's Iqbal. Iqbal, welcome to you. Crisis upon crisis, it rather echoes what our correspondent was just saying there, that there is a sense in which the explosion is a catalyst for people to think about meaningful change on different levels.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, thank you for the invite and thank you for having me. It is absolutely a crisis upon crisis, and Lebanon is one of those countries that has been dealing with challenges of its own: a crippling currency, the global pandemic, instability through political affairs, and now this incident, which has really brought home some of the challenges that the Lebanese people are experiencing. We've got a health infrastructure that's in dire need, and it's imperative that Lebanon is provided the levels of support through humanitarian assistance that its people need right now.
And when you say, what they need, you've got to make some rationing decisions, haven't you? You've got to prioritise and triage and work out what they need first and quickly.
Well, absolutely. We received an emergency alert on Tuesday, and quite immediately our emergency panel and humanitarian response unit were mobilised to try and assist in what was a very serious incident. I mean, over 100 lives have been lost, more than 5,000 people are injured, 300,000 people are reported to be homeless. That's, with a population of about 2 million in Beirut. In comparison, that's 1 in 6 people we're talking about. And the scale of this is as such that, with a population in London of about 9-10 million or whatever it might be, 1 in 7 people, you're talking about 1 million people becoming homeless overnight. The severity and the scale of this incident is large, and it's very, very significant.
Yeah. Harris, sometimes, when there is a disaster like this, a natural disaster or otherwise, perhaps this is a disaster that's caused by human neglect to some degree, when the aid agencies arrive, there's sometimes a duplication effect, and you're looking for people to sort of orchestrate these different aid agencies that go in there. I just wonder whether that's even more complicated in Beirut, given the fact it is such a complicated society, isn't it? It's got different religious communities. I don't know where PennyAppeal is coming from this, how it fits into the Shia-Sunni aspect of what's going on, for instance, with Hezbollah being much more politically represented in Beirut than would have been the case, say, 20 years ago. How does that work on the ground?
Well, to start with, PennyAppeal is a humanitarian organisation, and it provides assistance in humanitarian circumstances with no political association or affiliation whatsoever. And I think this incident and others, really call upon us to provide humanitarian assistance without the political sort of spin on this. The people of Lebanon deserve better, and we as communities and globally as a family of communities need to do a lot more to make sure that the right level of support is provided. But in terms of triage and in making sure that the right aid is provided, PennyAppeal, like other agencies, will be working through coordination mechanisms, and we in particular are working with our local partners on the ground, and we as an organisation champion the agenda of localisation. And so working through organisations already in Lebanon, national organisations, NGOs, we believe we get greater impact.
Yeah. I mean, as we look at live pictures from that flattened landscape down by the port where the explosion happened, it's worth remembering, isn't it, Harris? I mean, when you look at the Lebanese diaspora across the world, I mean, this is a country which is famous for the way it grasps entrepreneurial opportunities. It's a great country of enterprise, and that it should be so reliant, it seems, in the next few years on humanitarian aid will be extraordinary in the eyes of some.
Yeah, I mean, whilst that may be the case, Lebanon, as an economy, has been experiencing some of the most significant challenges in recent times. It's, got the highest debt ratios in the world, and a currency that's potentially crashed, according to many reports. And so, with food supplies at an all-time low and other challenges as a result of this, but also the fact, we are in a global pandemic, and some countries who, with failed or with reduced health infrastructures are even more in that sort of frame of crisis upon crisis. And so, this hits home to many in making sure that the right support and the right assistance is now provided.
Iqbal, very good to talk to you today. Thanks for your time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.